He was the most perfect life form in the universe. In order to continue the civilization of his highly intelligent species, as an engineer, he decided to create life on this planet. He then drank the water from the cup, and with the intense changes happening inside his body, his genes began to break down. The engineer collapsed heavily to the ground, and his body slowly began to corrode. In the end, the engineer's flesh and blood merged with the seawater, blending into the environment of nature. Thus, life on Earth was born. As centuries passed, humanity developed an advanced civilization. In order to find their creators, they built a massive spaceship. After many years in cryosleep, they finally located the planet of their creators. But this place has changed dramatically, and the creators, whom humanity had longed for, were now extinct. It was at this point that the bioengineer discovered the last surviving engineer, who had been lying in a cryochamber, preserving life. So, they woke him up. As they gazed at his towering form, the first encounter between humanity and their creators began. But then, an elderly man, who had spent a fortune to reach the planet, asked the engineer one question: how could they achieve immortality? To their surprise, the engineer didn't answer. He slowly lifted the bioengineer's body, and in the next moment, he snapped the bioengineer's neck. Everyone panicked. They had to resist, but they were all mercilessly killed by the engineer. Only Elizabeth managed to escape. At that moment, she realized that this desolate planet was not the engineer's homeworld, but rather their military research base. The purpose was to carry a vast number of biological weapons to Earth, to wipe out all the life they had created there. However, for some reason, the ship crashed on this planet, causing the engineer to fall into a deep sleep. But now, as the engineer was awakened by humanity, he decided to continue his mission. At that point, Elizabeth rushed to inform the captain about the engineer's plan, hoping to stop it. If they didn't act now, Earth was at risk of being destroyed by the engineer. The captain, after hearing Elizabeth's words, although unaware of why the engineer was doing this, but for the sake of all humanity, he and his 2 crew members would have to sacrifice their lives. They accelerated the spaceship and crashed it into the engineer's ship. Thus, the engineer's ship was severely impacted by the Prometheus. It lost its energy systems and slowly began to crash to the ground. Although the spacecraft has crashed, but the engineer survived and found Elizabeth and prepared to kill her. But what I didn't expect was, a creature appears behind the engineer.